right, welcome to the very first episode of the Formula Hooligan podcast. My name is Alex Gomes, and you are?
Charlie Hosey.
All right. This is a podcast we've been talking about doing for quite some time. Mostly hasn't happened because of procrastination, amongst other things that are happening globally.
Yeah.
But
finally got working mics. We've got a tripod hooked to a
GoPro camera.
Yeah, I don't even know what all that is. There's just it's a mess behind the scenes over there, if you could see.
Yeah.
It's a low budget here, low budget operation.
Low budget. But it's finally working. We already attempted. Yeah, we got to keep. We can't figure out how to make how to make his computer stop going into sleep
Technology.
mode. So he has to keep hitting the button every once in a while just to keep our sponsor logo up there.
Yes.
But we're working on it.
That's right. We'll get it right. This is this is the first episode here, all right?
Yes. So this podcast is going to basically be the two of us, two motorsport,
Not
aficionados?
No. Enthusiasts, maybe aficionado.
Yeah, motorsport enthusiasts.
Maybe racer.
We are also racers ourselves. We race go-karts. That's what, the 5 people who do end up watching this or listening to this will know that already. But we'll be talking about our go-karting shenanigans as well as Formula One and whatever else is happening in the world of motorsport, including sim racing, as you can see that Charlie's rig in the back here.
Yeah, I was about to say anything with 4 wheels, but that's got no wheels.
That's got no wheels at all. It's got one wheel. It's got one wheel that you sit in front of.
One, yep. One that I complain and... what's going on there? All right, we're back. Hey.
Awesome.
All right, technology. So what do you want to do? You want to talk Formula One first or what?
Why not?
All right, let's jump right into it.
Let me explain. Hang on. Before we get started on actual topics, let me just explain the title of the show real quick. The reason we call it Formula Hooligan is because I race in the World Formula class for my go-karting league that I race in. Not anymore. I'm doing road tax this year. But previously, I'd raced 4 to 5 seasons with the World Formula motor. And for the first few seasons that I did it, and probably even still now, the class has been known for a lot of guys just going off track, crashing, and basically just making a mess of the day.
Yeah, a bunch of hooligans. Probably why I haven't gotten into it yet. I don't feel like crashing and smashing up a $4,000 piece of machine.
I think that's a very bad excuse, and you should be doing it anyway. Regardless, we were actually dubbed the Hooligans at one point. We weren't called the World Formula class anymore. We were called the Hooligan class. A lot of us like that name. There's even some guys, Dave Nadu, he puts Hooligan on his suit right down his leg. I like the name too, and so I figured I came up with this Formula Hooligan name years ago.
Or is it Formula Hooligan if you're Ismar?
Is that what he calls it?
Yeah, I think so. Well, we'll have him chime in.
I'll have to ask him before he watches this episode.
Yes.
And then he's all self-conscious about it.
Maybe we spelt it wrong. Maybe iRacing only allows a certain amount of characters or something. You could only use a Hooligan instead of Hooligan. I don't know.
I highly doubt that.
We'll see.
Regardless, that's basically where the Formula Hooligan name comes from. And if you don't watch the first 5 minutes of this episode, we're never going to explain it again unless somebody asks. So you heard it now. So let's talk Formula One, like you were saying. So preseason testing just ended today, actually, out in Bahrain. And to be honest with you, I know you really haven't been keeping up with it.
I saw Hamilton spin.
That's right. Yeah, Hamilton spun and got
Everyone
beached.
got excited. Oh, no, the world's falling, but no.
Yeah, so I know you haven't been following it really. I've been following it very loosely. And the only reason I haven't been glued to it like I usually would is just because preseason testing doesn't really tell you. It tells you some things, but not everything.
No, Ferrari has been first in testing for the last, not last year, but what was it, 6 years in a row?
2019, 2018, it all looked super promising, and then they never win the championship.
I don't know.
I looked at a graphic today, and it was all the winners of preseason testing based off of all the champions. I mean, the champion's been Mercedes for the last 7 years. But I think even the year, I looked at 2012 and 2013, which were the last times that Red Bull won the championships. 2012, Lotus was the fastest team in testing.
Nice.
And they won, I think they only won one race that year. This is the year from it's the same year that Kimi Räikkönen said, "Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing."
Oh, it's famous.
And that was the last race of the year, and he won that race. And I want to say he won one previously that year. He must have, because that was a crazy year where the first 7 races had 7 different winners, and I'm sure he was one of them.
Wow. Yeah.
But maybe not. This is 9 years ago.
Before I started watching, sadly, when that was
Yeah.
really the maybe not the best times, but arguably.
Right. But
certainly for
regardless, to get back to my point, the leading team in testing is rarely ever the team that wins the championship or even does really anything.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say that. I mean, like Ferrari was good in 2018, 2019 testing, but they didn't win the championship, still won races. It wasn't like they were garbage, but
Certainly.
I don't know. It's kind of weird though. Like you said that Hamilton spun out in one of the sessions, and I've been, from my loose paying attention, it doesn't seem like he is actually comfortable with the car at all. Valtteri is actually more comfortable, which is crazy.
Yeah, maybe he's sandbagging. Maybe he's trying to show
maybe
a little bit like he's got some rust or something, or he's still recovering from COVID, or who the hell knows.
Yeah, you know, it's crossed my mind whether or not COVID is affecting him. That nobody really knows what the long term, symptoms are.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he did have it like 3-4 months ago, so I would think by now an athlete like him would be all set.
Yeah, he dominated too, pretty much all the races since then. So I find that
No, he
not much of a
didn't.
factor. Lewis, I wouldn't say dominated. No,
So he got sick, and then he attended the last race of the year last year at Abu Dhabi, and I'm not even sure he podiumed. We're not going to be up to all like the the
Drive
real
to Survive
results.
airs, I believe, this week. So
Yeah.
I'll do my catching up
Yeah,
then.
that's
I gotta
basically-
get my Netflix.
That's basically when I'll be doing my catching up too. But like, I'm not even sure he podiumed. Max Verstappen won the last race last year, and I want to say Valtteri was on the podium. Yeah, it must have been Hamilton.
Yeah, you know what it was? I thought Hamilton had it way before then. I didn't realize it was that late in the season. When he got it.
Yeah, it was very late because that was when Russell took over his spot,
Oh yeah, well,
and we all know, most of us know
how that happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
conspiracy theories.
Yeah, you totally
2020 was full of conspiracy theories. We're not going to go into any of the others, but that was one of them.
Well, so you're very much in favor that there was some shenanigans
Oh,
going
100%,
on
yeah.
with that race.
Yes.
So explain. What do you think?
Well, let's see. For starters, there was the whole pit stop shenanigans, the double stack, and they botched that. Then they put the used tires back on as fresh tires, and so essentially there was 2 screw ups there.
Yes.
I could picture one of them happening, 2 of them. I don't think so.
It is very uncharacteristic of Mercedes to be doing something like that because they're usually
Exactly.
perfect.
Exactly.
They're
And it
usually
just
perfect.
would have looked bad if this, George Russell
Right.
went out there and
yeah, you've had that argument.
yeah. And I'm not taking anything away from Lewis, but I just think it would have been for their leading guy, the face of Formula One. It just wouldn't have bode well for
If somebody
Mercedes
else
or the
won in the
league
car.
too. I think conspiracy theories go run much deeper, right there or higher or whatever. But I think it just wouldn't have looked well. So, but who knows?
You're saying
George-
it wouldn't have looked good with somebody else winning.
I think, because Formula One. I think Formula One would have looked a little bit like, because people already question. They say, well, it's the team with the most money and this and that, and everyone already knows the foregone conclusion. Mercedes is going to win no matter who's behind the wheel now. So
Right, which is what they were going to prove.
exactly, and people, it's still funny the argument about like if Formula One's exciting now, and clearly, so I don't really follow any other form of motorsport to be honest with you anymore, except that and Formula One. It's still very exciting compared to IndyCar. Can't get into it's the personalities are lacking. NASCAR, it just doesn't have the personalities that it used to, and Formula One does. I feel like.
Well, the great thing about Formula One now, watching it in the U.S., is they use the Sky Sports stream or the Sky Sports presentation, which goes with no commercials, which is incredible. I cannot watch NASCAR, IndyCar, even the IMSA stuff. I cannot watch it
race where you think it wouldn't matter.
and with the same enjoyment because they throw commercials. And I swear to God, like it's like the American broadcasting or American television.
There's a paper bag on the back straight. We got to throw just a caution here to so
that's
our
part of
sponsors
it.
can.
That's definitely part of it. But just like I don't know. Like I was watching the 24 Hours of Daytona, and I swear to God, within the last 10 minutes, they threw a commercial. And I don't even know if it was one of those commercials where it was side by side, where like in the little screen you still watch the race going on. But
it breaks up the momentum.
absolutely,
I want to be the one to decide when I'm watching and not watching. I don't want it to just, it's,
Yeah. So when you watch Formula One now these days, you just get totally spoiled.
Yeah, you do. It's great. You really become part of the experience. And and that leads me to my next topic, too, is fans in the stands for Formula One.
Yeah.
Obviously, last year, many of the people listening, at least these first few episodes, till we go real big anyway, we're probably going to be in Montreal. And then, all of a sudden we couldn't do it. And here we are almost a year later questioning, we still don't know. And for someone like myself, and I'm sure everybody, I mean, it's such a fan sport. And being there, it changes everything.
Absolutely.
It's like going to a rock concert / EDM fest / there's dirt bikes jumping with the Monster Girls and
girls.
You got simulators. They got
you might have to just give up on that at some point.
Yeah. It's like a 30-second loop, but it's a whole experience. And then obviously downtown Montreal is taken over by nothing but block parties and this and that.
And it's all like that city dresses up for the weekend.
Yes.
You have Ferrari flags, checkered flags, all sorts of things going on. The cars that come out that weekend.
So it's the whole experience. And that's what really drew me into Formula One maybe 4 years ago when I first went.
Yep.
And that's what sucks you in, and then you care about all the teams, and you care about the the drivers mostly.
Right.
I don't pay too much attention to the managers and everybody else. I don't care, but a little bit. That's where Formula One, the video game, right, comes into play. It's cool. You can build your own team, and okay, great. But without us knowing about fans for the June race in Montreal, it's hard for me, and that's what I was saying earlier, to get really amped about the season. Even though it's like we only watch one race live a year, but it's still, you feel a part of the season.
Absolutely.
You were there for, literally, what was it? Last time we were there, we had, who was that Formula One car dangling over our head?
Oh, Lando Norris.
That's not supposed to happen. Name me in any other sport where something similar to that would happen legally. It just doesn't. You're never going to get that.
It's a unique situation. For those who don't remember, Lando Norris, he broke down probably halfway through the race at the 2019 Canadian Grand Prix. And they put his car kind of like off to the side where the pits are. Now, when the race ends, all the fans can jump onto the track, run to the front stretch where the podium ceremony is happening. While they were doing that, while all of us were running to the podium, they picked up the car with a crane. It had it dangling like 20 feet in the air. And you could just run under the thing. And, they were having some people like, hey, stay away. But, like, there's a video. I took a video of me just being like, hey, there's Lando's car. Like, that's what he's referring to. So
and I actually stopped and took a video, or so I thought. And I think Rich made fun of me over this. Because all weekend I was having a lot of trouble with technology, of course. Taking photos, videos. I captured nothing. Apparently, I forgot to hit record somehow. I don't know. So I didn't get anything. But you know what? What a way to go. If that thing had fallen on me and crushed me, it's
death by falling Formula
by a
One
$10 million Formula One car or whatever it may be. Just boom.
I don't know what a Formula One car even costs.
You probably can't put a price on it, actually, because of the amount of time invested in it, right?
If you put the time into it.
And then that's why it's like, you've been
there's probably a number. You know them number crunchers at those teams. They probably got that number squared down.
Probably 10 million is probably accurate. Maybe that might be a little low.
Maybe
that might be a little low. But anyway, nonetheless, that's the kind of experience you get when you go to watch these races live, and that's why I think if you take anyone that has any interest in motorsports to a live event like Formula One, they'll be hooked for probably forever.
Yeah, especially Montreal. Montreal is a hell of a city. And
yeah,
just a hell of a
exactly.
race.
Well, that's
the track breeds really good racing as well.
It does, but also, so if you haven't been to Montreal, you're on an island. I mean, it's the coolest track. It's got it all. It's got walls, the Wall of Champions.
Yeah. It's got walls. That's a great thumbs up right there.
I'm actually not a fan of that in general. Why?
That's what makes all the classic tracks really great. You bitch about the friggin' the tracks with all the runoff.
I complain about everything, really, though.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, but that track in particular, it's phenomenal. So if you haven't gone, you got to go. I'm hoping we can go in June. Otherwise, it's COTA, the parking lot track.
COTA. C-O...
Well, we're Boston here. Well, Rhode Island, whatever.
I'm pretty sure you say it like COTA.
All right. Circuit of the Americas.
Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, yeah.
Yeah.
That is our...
backup.
That is our backup destination, and to be honest with you, dude, I think that's going to be our our actual destination for the year.
Yeah,
I don't.
It is what it is. It's well, Texas is already open right now, so it seems very probable, and it's not till fall. It's the last race of the season, right?
No,
well, not this year.
It's never the last race this season. It's probably like 3 races to go, something like that.
But anyway, it's towards the end, so it's looking likely. But I've heard it's a good track to view from.
Yeah,
that's what everyone's saying.
Well, I've had friends go. Cotter, he's gone.
Yep.
And he said there's not a bad seat in the house. And he went in the MotoGP weekend, which MotoGP doesn't have the same popularity.
That would be cool. I know we weren't supposed to talk about two wheels, but that would be cool.
There was never that rule. We can talk about whatever.
That's true.
He said he went in the MotoGP weekend, and you're like, yeah, you buy your tickets, but like the seats don't fill up. So he said you could just walk around the whole track to whatever seats you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine Texas, the turnout there for Formula One has to be probably the least amount of any other track in the world they go to. Because
I don't think so, dude, because here's one of the things they throw in with every ticket package. They usually throw some A-list celebrity to do a concert the Saturday night, and
Matthew
that comes...
McConaughey is down there. And
Matthew McConaughey doesn't perform.
that's true, he doesn't. Well, he's all right, you know? I don't know, they always show him down there.
Regardless, but like they've had I think Justin Timberlake perform.
Oh, God.
And that
crowd.
comes with your ticket purchase. So you get
okay.
to go to a concert because you bought a Formula One ticket.
That is
and I think that draws in
sure
quite a few people. But I also think that within this country, ever since the Netflix series Drive to Survive, Formula One's gotten way more popular.
Yeah.
You know? I go on the Formula One Reddit every once in a while, and you'll see people who become fans because they watch the show. And then they're addicted. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe I've missed out on this. And they're already following like the new season and the driver changes that have happened this year and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's not like football, but it is becoming more popular.
Yeah. The only thing is on that, let's just talk about the last season of Drive to Survive. It was pretty unanimous that everyone was a little let down. It seemed like
What
compared to the first season?
I wasn't.
Oh, okay. Well,
What makes you say that? Come on, Charles. Can't throw shit out like that.
Yeah, well, we were all talking about it at X1 Braintree.
Yeah.
R.I.P. And it just, I think one of the problems is, at least for me, I watched them all. I binged them.
Okay.
And I think that kind of ruined it a little bit. It's better if you kind of just watch it one in a week or whatever, and you kind of pay more attention. But I just kind of blew right through them, and it was just like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Okay. But what I was going to say was I know they have to produce it, and it's a high production value, but I wish it came quicker. But it's a good recap. So, it's about to air this coming week, I think, on Netflix for the previous season.
Yeah, this Friday.
It just feels so long ago now. I just wish it was, right afterward. I know it's not possible, but at this point, it just...
I mean, it's great that they do that because it amps people up to get into this.
For the new season.
When a newbie watches that show, whether it be they watch
it's
it
like
with
a
their
recap
boyfriend.
for their TV show, favorite TV show, yeah.
Yeah, and then the show starts next week, basically,
Right.
because that's when the season starts. It's kind of perfect.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it makes sense from that perspective.
Because then they're like, what happens next? Well, tune in next week to the actual race.
Right.
And you'll find out what happens next.
What was that other TV show? It wasn't on Netflix. I want to say it was Amazon Prime. They had a very similar to Drive. Do you remember that? I don't think it made it past its first season. And what the heck was it?
I really don't know. Formula One?
Yeah, it was Formula One. Hold on.
There's been a few documentaries on Netflix. There was a Williams one and there was a McLaren one.
Let's see
a few years ago.
I want to look this one up. You can fill this in while you're...
There's no dead air?
Yeah.
It's fine. It's podcast land. There's
right.
no rules.
There's no rules. Right. We got Marty calling in. Hey, Marty. What are you doing? Driving a truck? Yep. Well, great. Your job's going to be outdated in about 5 minutes.
Don't say that. Do you see where our fucking... You can't say that. Our sponsor is all about driving trucks.
They don't use trucks. They use...
Moron.
They're all hybrid technology and electric motors and everything else.
Don't worry, Newport Propane. I believe you guys are going to have truck drivers for quite some time.
Yeah, probably 50 years at least.
Yeah, to go totally off topic, I don't believe you're going to have autonomous truck drivers for some time. You know what I mean?
Oh, no. Everyone knows this is talking or spoke to me probably. I don't think we're ever going to... Sorry, Rich, and your Tesla. I don't think we're ever going to have self-driving cars. It's just... The problem is, I'll tell you... No, it's very simple. It is possible eventually. We created the highway system throughout all of the U.S., and then that changed commuting forever. It would be the same undertaking. We're going to need sensors through all the major highways and interstates and everything else. You can't just have the cars communicating with each other. It's not going to be good enough. You need a fail-safe mode. And I think having some type of sensors on the roadway is going to allow for it one day to happen. Sure.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think without that, I just think you're going to run into way too many. Think about it. All we do in this country is sue. It's going to be lawsuit. It might start and it's going to quickly get squashed. Because
I don't know.
How do you imagine though? Your family's driving home from dinner. Bam! They're dead because they slammed into another car because their sensor was blocked by some debris.
It's already happened.
Exactly.
They have a few Teslas out there that they test that are purely auto driving, and one dude died.
Yeah.
It collided into an 18-wheeler.
I don't know why I'm the kind of guy that laughs at a funeral here. I don't know why I'm smiling, but But that's my point, and that's going to continue to happen. But the argument is, well, there's more deaths though because of drunk driving, texting, and everything, which is true statistically. Sure. But people like control over their own fate and destiny. So I think in conclusion, we'll be good. Newport Propane will be good. We'll keep driving cars. And
my argument for the truck driving thing, especially with like propane delivery, is that
you're driving a giant bomb.
Well, sure, you're driving a giant bomb, and maybe you want an actual person behind that bomb, but delivering is not like a perfect, like I drive here and then the delivery happens. No, you still have a person that has to get out and run the hose out,
right,
and bring it to the tank and then bring it all back, do the calculation for the ticket, all that good stuff. But it's never like it's always obvious where to put the truck for that delivery. I would know because I did the deliveries for a year. I worked for Newport Propane for a little while, and deliveries is what I did. So, but there's plenty of times like there's a car in the way of where you would usually park. So you got to kind of finesse yourself to figure out where to get the truck to actually do the delivery correctly. Amongst other things, there was some locations that like you'd have a certain tree that was right there in the way,
sure,
and you'd have to put the truck in a position where it would work. And I don't think you can tell a computer that.
No, I agree. You know
what I mean?
Yeah, this reminds me of a few things, but one in particular, you go to Stop and Shop and you see that odd-looking tall robot, like a Weeble Wobble.
That thing.
I hate it, exactly. But you notice he does it a very efficient job. He reports when clean up aisle 5, whatever. Someone smashed a bottle of tomato sauce. But like you just said, what happens when somebody is standing there and he just kind of spins, and he doesn't know what to do because, oh my God, now it's like his whatever algorithm, whatever system he's on and using, it can't figure out what to do. He's stuck. He's like, Bah.
I don't know. I've never tried.
Well, that's I guess my the child in me. When I go, I tend to like to get in its way and just see how it reacts.
Yeah.
Because it's a robot and it's cool, but he gets confused. He can't continue his job. He won't run into me, which is good. So he's not causing damage, but he's not continuing and finishing his job to clean up messes and report shoplifters, whatever he does. I don't know.
Have you? What I'm asking is, have you seen that? Because I've never seen anybody actually try to mess with the thing.
Oh yeah, this is a true story. I try to do it quite often. Yeah. You've never shoved your shopping cart into it?
No.
Oh, I think.
No, you're more cynical than I am.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they name them. They're all named like they name them at the.
Yeah, they have them googly eyes on them.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's like BB-8 over there, but yeah, it's funny. I don't know how we started talking about
we're not talking about
racing
no more.
We'll go back into Formula One because one of the things I was saying is earlier was the draw this year is also the lineup changes. There's been so many changes. I had to write them down because I can't keep up with it. There's essentially nobody is on the same team except for Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton.
Yes. Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
it's
you keep going.
It's about half.
Yeah, it's about half. But so that's where I'm most interested to see is how that changes the dynamic and if you're going to start seeing somebody like I don't know, an Alex Albon, Sergio Perez, or one of those up and comers. Are they really going to
Well, Alex Albon's gone.
Where did he go?
He's going to DTM. He's not racing Formula One anymore.
Oh, so okay. Well, that's good. Thank you. I got to update my notes.
Sergio Perez took his seat.
Well, so
because Albon wasn't proving himself whatsoever last year.
That's another thing. Yeah. So not only was there changes within Formula One, but there's guys that left.
Yeah, forcibly or
just.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if anybody left Formula One last year because they wanted to. I don't think anybody did.
Magnussen.
No, those guys would have stayed if they had the ride. They were both kicked out.
Was he though?
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't just because of the accident.
What accident? No, Roman Grosjean was the one in the accident.
I'm thinking Roman Grosjean.
But it's the same thing with him.
Mittens.
If Mittens, God.
Sorry.
If he was, both of those guys would stay in Formula One given the choice. You know what I mean? Anybody would stay in Formula One given the choice. Actually, me even saying like, did anybody leave because they wanted to? That's a stupid thought. Because nobody's going to leave Formula One because they want to.
Level of racing, and money as well.
You're going to get paid. You're going to get paid well. You're racing the fastest cars there are. If I were to pick anybody who would have left Formula One last year if they didn't find a ride because they wanted to, I would think like a Sebastian Vettel. He seemed miserable at Ferrari.
Yeah.
Especially with his performance last year and even the years going into it. Like last year was especially bad, but I mean he's never for the last 2 or 3 years he's seen miserable in Ferrari.
Yeah, I think similarly to Drew Brees, he needs to hang it up. He's done. I mean it's Vettel is he like third or fourth for the most championships or something?
He has 4 championships, which I think slots him into.
It's top 5, I believe.
It is top 5. So
it's remarkable.
You have Lewis Hamilton and Michael Schumacher. They share first place with 7 championships each. Juan Manuel Fangio has 5, I believe. And then you have, Vettel.
It's crazy, yeah.
So Vettel is technically 4th because first and second are tied.
So you have to give him mad respect. I mean,
he's definitely one of the best.
Including me. I mean, everybody shit on him last year. It was embarrassing, some of the moves, but it was maybe just frustration. Charles Leclerc was on a real run there for a while.
If you think about it, he was fired at the end of the year before the season even started. He knew before the season even started that like, nah, you're out this year, bud. This is your last year.
Yeah, so
that sucks.
That's true.
So you're gonna do your best job when you just got fired? I don't think so.
Yeah.
So that's definitely part of it. But like also, he's never had the rear end of the car under him like for the last 2 or 3 years, which is kind of what I was saying. Like the last few years, he's just been garbage because of that. I mean, he's made fun of online. Spinalla. You ever heard that friggin' phrase?
Of course.
Because he just spins the car all the friggin' time. So I think he's going to do much better at Aston Martin. I kind of hope that... that won't happen. I was going to say, like, would they give Lance the better car because his father owns the team? But they didn't do that with him last year. It's not like Lance was destroying Sergio. Sergio was more or less destroying Lance.
I thought Lance had a better season last year.
Lance always does, like, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think he deserves his seat in Formula One, but he would never... It's hard to, see him as a championship driver. He got 1 pole position last year, which came out of friggin' nowhere.
Yeah, was that Hockenheim or that crazy weather race?
It was a crazy weather. It was a weather race and weather qualifying. Yeah, it was at Turkey, and this is the first time they've been back to the track since 2011, I believe. And it was raining the entire qualifying, from what I can remember. And there's so many. I hope I'm right. I bet you there's so many people that are just like, it wasn't raining the whole time.
Yeah.
Do you even like Formula?
I know. Actually, we probably should have waited till we saw Drive to Survive again.
To do this podcast, we'll be much more educated next week, folks.
Yeah, we'll redo it. But that's the point. You can.
Regardless, he won the qualifying. It was supposed to be Max Verstappen's taking. He was first in qualifying 1 and 2, and he just blew it in qualifying 3. But then like Lance, from the start of the race, led the whole race up until the pit stops. So he showed pace, and he actually was driving away. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was being closed in on until till it came time for pit stops, and I think people were kind of encroaching on him. But, I shit on him. You shit on him. Our whole friend group shits on him because he's daddy's boy. But like,
hey, listen,
you got to have some skill to drive those cars.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Exactly.
And you got to be in good shape. You can't be a regular Joe Schmo jumping that thing, and you probably wouldn't even be able to do 5 laps without your neck hurting, your shoulders hurting.
Yeah, or even passing out.
I don't know if you'd pass out. They're doing some G's.
Sustain G's though.
They sustain like 5 or 6 G's at the most at some of the crazier tracks.
What
which
about
is a lot.
When you first tried the? It was not a shifter car. What were you in, a tag? Remember that? And you were like. Just the heat and everything, you almost passed out yourself.
I mean, yeah, if you throw heat into it and just, general exhaustion, sure. I was thinking you were thinking like black out and just pass out while driving.
I still think I could have that happen to me. Some regular Joe Schmo, and fastest I've been is like 40 miles an hour in a go-kart. Maybe 46.
Maybe 40. The sheets say 50 something, but highly doubt that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, you got to give him some credit. And I love him a lot more now that I know what a real shitty daddy boy situation looks like with Nikita Mazepin. Are you up to speed with that?
No.
With the Russian kid?
Not at all. Although, isn't he the one that played grab ass in the back of the car
Yes.
and got in trouble? Yeah.
Well, grab chest.
Oh, chest, ass.
Yeah, like
whatever.
right in the cleavage,
Yep.
right under the clothes.
I think
Filmed it himself.
If you've learned anything of late, that's like the one thing that's going to get you in trouble these days. It seems like
there's plenty that'll get you into trouble.
yeah, but
Plenty.
just what are you doing? You're on video
Exactly.
and you're like
It's not like
You're a
somebody
public
filmed
figure.
him doing it. He filmed himself doing it.
I actually have yet to see the video.
You don't need
Yeah,
to.
I can imagine it. But
Like I said, like right in the cleavage, like under and grabs the whole
and
thing.
who
under
was
the
this
clothes.
girl?
Some reporter, I believe.
Oh, that's real smart. Yeah.
And she went on Instagram and she initially was saying like, "Oh, it's not a big deal," blah blah blah, and then she went back on there and said it was some quote like, "Note to self: don't be friends with assholes."
Oh shit.
Yeah, so she flipped her script real quick. She was probably like, "I don't want to get him in trouble," but then like came to actually,
maybe.
became smart and was like, "I should probably fend for myself."
Yeah.
And then he's an asshole.
Who knows? He could have paid her off.
And the crappy thing is, I mean, have you seen what the car looks like?
I can only imagine. What are they?
Russian colors.
Oh,
Yeah.
the whole car.
The whole car.
Like the exterior.
It's a white car with red, white, and blue stripes, but they're in the order of the Russian flag.
Really?
And the name on the car is Daddy's sponsor or Daddy's company.
That's hilarious. Was this
Yeah.
in the U.S. where this happened or no?
I don't know where the incident happened. I don't think it was in the U.S. Probably
God.
in Russia somewhere or Europe, whatever.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess where I was going with that was there was drivers that were getting in trouble this past year over like comments during sim racing events, weren't there?
Well, you
Maybe
had
not with Formula One.
Kyle Larson last year, almost
Right.
like a year to the date.
Different. Well, he was the one that said the N word, right?
He dropped a bomb.
I think so.
Over sim racing.
Over sim racing, yeah,
Yeah.
probably a stupid idea. But there were some
very
people that got
stupid
in trouble
idea.
though, not even saying, I'm not talking about racial slurs or graphics. When I think they literally were like, "This sucks" or something, like.
Nah, it never went that bad.
There was maybe it was just the guys complaining about
You
it.
know-
It's not realistic.
You know who
and
who got a lot of shit
sponsors get mad.
for saying something, and it was kind of like, wait, what? Why do people care? Was Max Verstappen last year at the Portuguese Grand Prix called Lance Stroll, the other daddy's boy, called him a Mongol because they collided in turn one. And he was like, da what a Mongol, and then like there was actually this like outrage towards Max Verstappen because he used that as an insult. And like I've never thought about that as being like a
Well, I mean, isn't that essentially like calling someone the R word or?
no, because you're directing it at a group of people, like an actual nationality, Mongolians.
Yeah, but that term has kind of replaced the R word, really.
I haven't.
And in
really.
a bad way. No, really?
I have not heard
All
anybody
right,
else really
maybe,
using it.
Okay. Me and Max, I guess.
Regardless,
Not that we condone that sort of thing, but
I kind of looked into it for a second, and I don't remember what the explanation was for the reason for people to use Mongol as a replacement for like stupid.
yeah.
But that's the closest thing I was thinking, like, I don't know. We have to get outraged about everything kind of thing. But
Well, yeah, that's it.
regardless,
It's a whole other
going
topic.
back to my other point about Daddy's boy Mazepin there, that example makes me like Lance Stroll a lot better because Lance Stroll seems more like a normal dude. Lawrence Stroll seems more like a normal father than this Russian asshole and his kid who is a tit grabber.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's
that's where it can go. That's how bad money and everything can make you.
But what was the punishment for it?
Nothing.
Yeah, they get rid of
Nothing.
great girls, but they punish him.
They go to sensitivity traiing, which what the frig does that mean? When it happened, Formula
Taught
One.
by Bill Burr, by the way.
What was I gonna say? Formula One throws sensitivity training at him, and Formula One comes out with their statement saying we don't support his actions. And then Haas Formula One team comes out and also says we don't support their actions. But like, maybe they are a little bit honest with their thoughts regarding the whole incident. But the reason that he's staying in there is because of the money. That's why he's in there.
Because you need.
And
they need the money.
it feels like
It's
the
needed.
the apologies are so fake from Haas F1.
Yeah.
They throw out that statement, oh, we don't approve of his actions, blah, 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 as a way to just be like, all right, we got our asses covered about what he did. I mean, like I was saying, they probably don't approve of it, but it's still like, if you really didn't approve of what he did, which was sexual assault that he filmed himself, the proper action in my mind is, you're out of here.
Yeah, you would think so.
Leave.
It's not like he was it's not Lewis Hamilton doing it where you'd be like, all right, I get it. The guy's.
What do you mean you get it? What are you supposed to mean by that?
I don't know. Kobe Bryant comes to mind, or Tiger Woods, or any of these numerous superstars. If they commit a certain crime, the standards don't necessarily hold for them.
Oh, you mean it in that respect?
Yeah, if you're a superstar, usually you kind of get away with more. It's the way it goes.
Yeah, that can be true.
Mazepin, or however you say
it still doesn't make it right.
Yeah, he's. I don't know. Enough about him. Screw him.
Yeah, why are we even talking about it? Why are we giving him the light of day?
I don't know. So I was going to say Michael Schumacher. I haven't really followed much of him, but now
Nobody has, really.
He's moved up into the ranks, though. Now, isn't he? What is the story with Michael Schumacher?
Michael Schumacher is potentially a vegetable in a bed right now. You're talking about Mick Schumacher.
Oh, Mick. Yes. I didn't realize his name was Mick.
Yes.
That's stupid.
Mick Schumacher.
Well, I'll scratch out the F word, but that's hilarious. I thought all this time Mick, I was like, that's just short for Michael. I didn't even realize that.
I don't believe so. Maybe can you do Mick short for Michael?
Yeah, you can do anything you want now. People spell Charlie with a Y. So.
Regardless, you're talking about Mick Schumacher.
Yeah, of course.
Who, he's the more exciting prospect at Haas F1 this year. And the one that has fortunately gotten the most coverage online and social media and stuff like that. Because, the
son of a champion.
The son of a champion, but also, like, the other kid did bad things, and they don't really want to put him on social media. So
that's true. But that'll be exciting to watch.
It will be exciting to watch. It's cool to see an M. Schumacher on the grid once again.
That's true.
It doesn't really hold the same nostalgia to me as it does to other folks, because I only started watching F1 around 2010. And while Michael Schumacher was in the sport in 2010, he was on like a comeback tour at Mercedes, never really did much. The most he ever did was he got pole at Monaco, where he got a penalty, had to start 5th place in that race, and then crashed in lap 1. He wasn't his same super successful self that he was at Ferrari, where he was winning 5 championships in a row. So, when I first started watching and I see Schumacher on the grid, I knew who he was. I did a passing following of Formula One.
So you think he's going to end up like a Dale Jr.?
That's a good question.
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well,
he's a guy that you're going to love to try to meet and be like, oh my God, Michael's son, Mick. Not Michael.
Not Michael. I don't know.
I don't know.
See, Formula One has had a few examples of father-son success. You have...
did Max's dad ever...
Yeah, well, Max's dad drove, but Max's dad didn't really have any success. He didn't have any wins. I think he might have had a podium or two. But what was the one that just came to mind? Yeah, Gilles Villeneuve, which is based off of the track that we go to.
Oh, yeah.
His name is inspired that name of that track. And Jacques Villeneuve, who won the championship in the late 90s. You know what I mean? So there's your two successful. I'm not sure Gilles even had a championship, but he was a winner, constantly winning races. And
yeah, I'm sure in other motorsports there's many examples, but not in Formula One.
And then you also have, wow, why is it escaping me right now?
Because there's a microphone in front of your face.
Because there's a microphone in front of my face. That's exactly why my brain can't work with this thing in front of my face.
Maybe just close your eyes.
Nobody's here. Everybody's in their underwear if they are here. You have... Wow, I'm making my point really crappy, but you do have examples of father-son combos that have worked before who have had success in Formula One, so it wouldn't be super surprising if Mick was good. But it could be like a Dale Jr. situation where, like, Dale Jr. wasn't a bad NASCAR driver, but he wasn't the 7-time champion that his father was.
Right. But he was a cool person. And
yeah.
People like him. And I think that's what could happen here if he's smart anyway. He's going to be very
He'll definitely be one of the most popular. I think he does all right. He does all right for himself when he goes on to social media and whatnot. He seems like a stand-up dude.
Well, I don't know. I, for one, am ready to see some of these guys like Lando and some of these younger guys, Charles Leclerc and Max, who's already shown himself. But I'm kind of ready for the new generation.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it is getting
everybody is. I mean, everybody's sick of Hamilton winning everything.
Yeah, I'm sick of it, but it would be sad when it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, he keeps kind of hinting at, I'm gonna retire. It's bad on the environment, and I'm gonna do this. And
He is on the environmental side of things. It was almost it was very speculative during the off season that he was going to retire, only because I want to say he signed his contract for this year maybe only 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point. So there was like is he even going to re-sign? Well, what's he doing? There's no deal yet.
Value, that's all.
Even Toto Wolff is the race. Toto Wolff of Mercedes was rumored to be retiring as well, or moving to another team, or whatever it was.
Yeah, there was a lot of those rumors early on, but
that's the thing though. Those weren't early on. That was like throughout the off season up until recently. What's funny about this year's silly season is that most of it was already said and done before the season even started last year. Like I was saying earlier, you already knew that Vettel was out. We already knew that Ricciardo was going to go to McLaren.
Yep.
Before the season even started.
He's becoming a team hopper though here at this point.
He is. Very much.
I don't know. I'm a huge Ricciardo fan. You can't tell right now, but
yeah.
It's
most people are.
Yeah, exactly. He's
dude.
Hilarious. He's
a
fun
good
to
personality.
Watch. He's just exciting to watch, really.
Right.
But it'd be interesting because isn't he the one? Didn't he also make a comment like if I don't know if he said if I was in the Lewis's Mercedes, I would be up at the top too. But he said something along those lines.
I think a few drivers have said that. Max has said that. I know Max for sure has said that.
I don't doubt that though. For someone like Max, I mean,
no,
you don't think he'd be?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I also don't doubt it.
I mean, it's come on.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
George Russell proved it.
Picture us out in the rental leagues, right? When we're all out there, and it's like there's always the ringer, and all of us are fucking complaining. But obviously, the one in the ringer is like, no, it's me. It's all me. It's like, yeah.
Right.
Even though you're walking by somebody on the straight, and But anyway, it is what it is.
Every once in a while, you got to get into one of those carts that are just the rocket.
Yeah.
Just feel good about yourself.
The rocket outdoors is a huge advantage, but for some reason, once again, the indoor track that's no more there is you could win in the shitty cart
every once in a while. Well, because you could play defense on the indoor
exactly.
track.
At an
For those
track,
who don't know, me and Charlie here have done our fair share of rental karting, both indoors and outdoors. So that's what we're alluding to right now.
Yeah, it's the best if you haven't done it. R1 in Rhode Island is still doing it, and Foxwoods has a nice gas-powered.
Foxwoods is probably my favorite indoor track I've ever been to. It is
which, by the way, we weren't able to do an endurance race there, which we did about a year ago, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, that was a great time.
Yeah.
I can't believe how much strategy went into that race. You would think it's just a bunch of dudes. There was a few racing teams, like actual racing guys that showed up to do it, like mostly oval racers.
Yeah.
But with the way...
We would have done better with some strategy.
Well, yeah. I mean,
clearly. I think I picked up, I don't remember how long that penalty was, all because I entered pit lane when you weren't supposed to. Remember, there was like a certain amount of teams. Yeah, there's like 2 teams that are allowed in at one time. But when you're coming off that corner in the back straight there, it's like that right-hander, and it comes up quick.
Oh, I vaguely remember what you're talking about now.
And they would also penalize you, supposedly, if you come in hot. Makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't want to endanger the flagger there. But, it was like, so I got penalized big time. And I was running good, and not that it mattered. We weren't going to. I don't even remember where we finished. It was not a.
It wasn't good.
No.
It wasn't nothing to report.
No. Yeah, it's. But it was. We all had fun. We got participation trophies.
Yeah.
Actually,
we got to go to Foxwoods. It was the greatest thing because
it was awesome. Yeah.
It was an 8-hour race, and they split it up over 2 4-hour sessions.
So yeah,
on a
plenty
Saturday.
of drinking, and Tom Brady losing though was the really bad part. If you remember.
Did that happen while we were there?
That was that night. Yeah.
Oh no way.
You fell asleep afterward, and you missed it. There was. Yeah, all the TNA came out at that, what is that, Scorpion Bar or whatever it is.
You've told me many times.
I mean, well, it just didn't hurt, We just got booted from the AFC Championship game, and that was it. Actually, no, it wasn't even the AFC Championship game. What am I talking about? We got booted before that. But anyway, yeah, it was phenomenal. So I'm ready to do it again. I kept calling them this year asking about it, and they didn't even know, sadly, what it was. So I think that's done. I mean, maybe they'll bring it back.
It'll be back next year.
Yeah. Winter of
I would think
December of 2021.
Right, they will do it in the winter, which I'm assuming is probably a slower time for them anyway. So that's when it's the best time to do it.
Oh, it's so cheap. Remember how it was awesome? It was a package. Usually if you stay at that hotel, it's $400 to $600, and
is it?
I think 400 at least. Yeah, I've been there.
I'm not a casino goer.
Oh, me neither. But I have been there recently, actually. But I didn't spend the night there because, ironically, from Foxwoods from here. it's 30 minutes, maybe 25 if you're cooking.
Yeah,
You
yep.
know?
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. So it's,
But
you
that,
could even take an Uber if you really
that
want.
was the best deal because you got to do the race. It was 2 4-hour sessions on a Saturday morning and a Sunday morning, but then you got to stay the Saturday night
Yeah.
as part of your entry for your entire team. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And the racing is very good. The people who run it aren't just like there to make money. No, they're
No.
there. They're racers.
It
You
was
can tell
intense.
those guys are racers who put it on.
Yeah.
And the rules are really good. And the thing, like I was saying with the strategy, the thing that made it so interesting was that having a good cart, with indoor karting and any type of rental karting.
We were trying to be fair, though. Remember, we were more concerned about everybody's getting their money's worth. And I get it because our team, I think we had 6 people.
5.
Oh, 5.
Me,
Really?
you, Derek, Josh, David.
Okay. Which actually seemed too many. I think 4 would have
Really?
been the sweet spot. Yeah, it was. Because then, I really do. Because like I was just saying, if you had a quick cart,
Yep.
we were still like, we got to bring it in because it was like, you want to give whoever, a chance out there.
we might have done that a few times.
A little bit too much because the other teams, if you remember, they would just keep out there until they absolutely
Well, they were
whatever the
smart.
max was. Yeah.
So if I'm remembering the rules correctly, what it was is that these are all
pit
rental
X amount of
carts, so
times.
you don't race the same cart the entire race. What would happen is they would have 4 carts ready to go in the pits, and
Right.
you would come in, and then your teammate would jump in the cart at the front of those 4 carts to go for their for their run. So what happened was, and I wish we knew this prior, was that teams would actually pay attention to which cart was in front.
Yeah,
And they
'cause
would
that's what
wait.
you're gonna get.
Right. So they would wait, and they would, keep in mind, like, which carts are the fast carts today? Because it's all rental carts. Some of them would beat the
Right.
shit, and some of them are actually fast. So they would see the fast cart come up at the front of the grid, or the front of the pits there, and then be like, and wave to their guy who was over on the balcony, who could wave to their driver to come in, so that their driver would come in, and the next guy would just jump into another fast cart and go. That's what blew my mind. Like, that's how much people were paying attention. But it all makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It was tough. Yeah, they had a lot of people, and they didn't allow headsets. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? That sucked. However, I've
Yes.
looked into it more, and I guess that's a rule amongst all of karting. You can't really be doing that.
That's weird. So you can't have a spotter. You can't.
No.
That's really
Well,
odd. I wonder why.
from the very brief research that I did. Now,
Maybe it's a safety thing.
when I did the 24-hour race out in Orlando, you could have communication, or at least we weren't told no.
Well, that's because it's Florida. You can do anything. In Florida.
You can do anything in Florida. Yeah, you can go wrestle crocodiles if you want.
Yeah.
This episode of the Formula Hooligan podcast is brought to you by Newport Propane.
Wait. Now, Alex, does anyone even use propane anymore?
Do you live under a rock, Charles?
Well, I know you can grill with it.
Uh-huh.
But can you cook on the stove with it?
Yes.
Heat the house with it?
Of course.
Warm up the pool?
Mhm.
Fuel my flamethrower so I can melt snow with it?
All right, slow down, Charles.
What about when the lights go
A
out?
propane generator will do you right.
Okay. So who would I talk to if I want propane in my house?
Newport Propane, of course. They've been family owned and operated for over 60 years now, so I'd say they know a thing or two about propane installation and delivery. Not to mention, they'll come out and give you a free estimate on any propane systems you're thinking about adding to your home.
Sounds good to me. How do I get in touch with them?
You can call them at 401-847-6878 or visit them online at newportpropane.com. That's 401-847-6878 or newportpropane.com. Newport Propane, proudly serving the Rhode Island area for over 60 years. I'm going to be doing that again this year. At the end of the year, we're going to New Orleans, actually,
Oh, for endurance race?
for an endurance race.
Nice.
Yep, 24 hours of NOLA.
Oh, wow.
New Orleans. I don't even know what the rest of the
I don't even
acronym
know,
is.
but
But
that sounds amazing.
we our radio communication didn't really work so well, so we got to figure that out better for this year. But it definitely helps, especially in the endurance races, especially with high performance endurance races when your fuel matters and all that kind of stuff. You have to come in and fuel the carts, and it'd be nice to be able to reach out to your driver and be like, "Hey, how does the fuel look?" And somebody
Yeah.
could actually come back and tell you.
In the last 24-hour race you did, and you have some people that weren't necessarily taking care of the cart maybe a little bit, and then I think that's
we had
the
our
one
fair
the
share.
one issue, and that's we experienced it even in Foxwoods is endurance race is just that's an endurance race. So if you're out there and you're beating it up, spinning out or destroying the tires or damaging the cart, it's huge. You're shooting yourself in the foot.
The thing is, though,
I don't want to say slow and steady, but steady and quick.
right, right, and that seems
way
like
to
the
be.
obvious way to go. But like last year during the 24 hours of Orlando, dude, the guys who won, like, to be fair, they're all like SCUSA drivers, professional karting guys.
Yeah, so
Those are
they're
the
like
guys who
hired
won.
shoes. They're just
They were the top guys
yeah.
to win that race, on top of like Ricky and Jordan Taylor, who are sports car drivers and whatnot. But
That's cool though.
they were driving their cart like it was a sprint race the entire time. Like at night, you could see them hopping curbs, throwing sparks, and I was like, "Why? How are you able to do this?" Because the rest of us are using the the mindset that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Preserve the cart, just get around, don't wreck, don't get into trouble, and just do steady lap times.
Well,
But those guys just went out there.
but the
and
carts
just,
were
like,
prepared by
destroying.
individual teams. It wasn't provided by the sanctioning.
It wasn't provided by the sanction team.
Right.
No.
So therefore, maybe they knew, they were confident. I don't
I don't
know
know
how
what
it's a cart. It's not.
Yeah.
There's not a lot you can do to set it up to withstand bumps.
There's got to be something, because they did whatever it was to.
Cheating. No, I'm only kidding.
You never know.
I don't. How,
You never
yeah,
know.
well, you know what? So let's change topics. We were talking about NASCAR, and we watched that documentary on how we used to cheat back in the day and stuff.
Oh yeah.
What about with karting? Because I feel
there's
like
got to be it.
there's
Yeah.
got to be cheating with karting.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if we really. I don't even know if we want to go there.
What, and expose some people?
Yeah, I'm not sure if we want to do that, but
I don't.
I
Let me think. Let me just think for a second. to think if I know anybody who's actually cheated.
and gotten caught. I mean, I feel like you can cheat with the weight. That's what they did mostly in NASCAR, was with weight. Trying to empty your, figuring a way to drop the load and.
Right, because they used to not. They used to not weigh the cars after the race, only before. That's why those things all worked. I cannot think. Like, I wasn't even going to drop names if I did know.
Yeah.
I can't even think of anybody right now that cheats in our New Hampshire Karting Association.
Yeah, I would. It's
But
hard.
that doesn't mean that there isn't.
How do they?
Because all right, we try to be fair with our club racing, because it is just for fun.
who are you cheating? You're cheating yourself, really.
Well, you're cheating yourself because
Not
you're proving
racing
that
for
you
money
need to
or
cheat to
anything
win. But the reason it happens in professional racing is because there's always money on the line for
Yes,
winning. And then
exactly.
you get to a professional level anyway, where it's your job. You're going to want to do the best job you can. And sometimes finding that gray area is
you
what's
could argue
necessary.
in most professional sports that there's cheating to some degree in all professional sports. And people
Absolutely.
argue it's because everyone cheats. So therefore, like Lance Armstrong comes to mind.
it's not even just Lance
everyone
Armstrong.
uses steroids.
Yeah, when he was winning those races all steroided up, so were the top 10.
Exactly.
So it's like Bill Burr likes to say, our roided up guy beat your roided up guy.
Right. But your roided up guy got caught. Therefore, he's a cheater. Okay, you're all cheaters.
But what I was alluding to is that, at the professional level, you're going to have cheating on every sport, motorsports, whatever, because it's your job to be the fastest guy. So why not look at the gray areas in the rule book and read
all right,
between
but
the
let's roll
lines?
it back into Formula One, though. Isn't that the appeal with Formula One? It's not. There's no BOP like there is in GT3.
There is no
GTV,
BOP, and that's you can. There's technically supposed to be more freedom.
I mean, they have to have. There's aero restrictions, right, for each team?
Starting this year, you have a system where, based on where you are in the championship points, you only get so much wind tunnel time.
Right, but wait, is that this year? They're capping money too.
Yes.
Capping money. And
Yep.
Underground effects. Is that all this year? That's the following year with the 18s.
That's going to be more highlighted next year with the newest car. Yep. But the wind tunnel thing will be interesting. I don't like it.
Well, that's not the point of Formula One. The whole point is to.
I don't like it in any sport, to be honest with you.
I don't either. I think it's more exciting when. Back in the day, a certain manufacturer would be faster in a straight or faster in turns or braking or you'd have different, I mean, it's still that way to a degree.
It can still happen.
Engine manufacturers vary.
Here's what I don't like about it, because I've seen it done in sports cars, because sports cars has BOP, right? And with this wind tunnel thing now coming to Formula One, it's not BOP, but there is this now. Here's what it does.
Yeah.
It rewards people for going slow. And let me explain.
Okay.
Let's say with sports cars. I mean, yes, with sports cars, right? BOP is usually done with, I think, ballast. So they'll put weight in your car if you're fast. And from what I understand, BOP can be decided at any time. It could be decided, the race prior, or it can be decided at qualifying after it's all set. Like, yeah, we got to add weight to your car going into the race. But there are teams that have been known to put that to their advantage. The Ford GT program of 2016 comes to mind. They were nothing special when they debuted that car in Daytona for the 24-hour race.
But BOP stepped in, and then
they won.
But they
Le Mans.
knew that was going to happen. That's
Right.
part of racing. So that's not cheating. That's just being smart.
It's working the rules, but it's rewarding being slow. And that's what I don't like. It's
Well,
rewarding
yeah.
not doing well. And I can see this happening where, like, let's say Monza is Ferrari's best track, right? Just
Right.
let's say they have a powerhouse of a motor this year. It just happens to be their best track. But the aero's a little off. They're still draggy. They don't know why. At the race prior to Monza, they could be like, hey, we're only a few points away from dropping a position in the championship. Why don't we just not do well this week? And then we'll drop down a position, and we can go into the wind tunnel for a little bit longer for Monza so we can figure out this drag problem we're having. Why? That's not exciting to me. Where it's like we can just compromise to,
Yeah.
this weekend.
That's sandbagging what you see in like drag racing and stuff. You know how guys would do that. But
Sure.
Yeah, I actually thought when you said BOP, they change it by adding weight. I believe it's actually in the motor.
They might do some kind of restrictor
Like I know in
plate thing.
GT4, they definitely the motors are tuned for a certain amount of horsepower, depending
They
on
might
the BOP
be.
and stuff, which is
No, I'm
bizarre.
not the biggest
Like in a
sports
lot
car
of
aficionado,
cases,
so.
the engine they use in racing series, it's GT4. I know it's true. It actually makes less power than the street car version, which is crazy.
Yeah, for a lot of them. Probably most GT3s.
Yeah.
A lot of the street cars make some insane power now, but
Yeah, they
GT3,
do,
they
yeah.
got to bring them down to I think they're at 550 horsepower or something like that.
Yeah, maybe because I think GT4 is around 450 or something like that. So
Yeah.
I'm sure GT3 is higher.
But name a GT3 car. You have the Ferrari 488. That thing probably makes 700
it
horsepower.
does, yeah, for 7.
You
Yeah,
know?
you're right.
And they got to be like, nah, bring it down to 550.
Definitely, the race version definitely doesn't make that much power.
No.
It's 550 probably, like
Right.
you said. But
Right.
it weighs.
I don't know exactly what they do to the motor to bring it down.
I don't know either.
You know,
That's
but
interesting,
I don't even know if they use the same motor. Maybe it's not even the same motor that goes into the street car.
Yeah, you would think it would. Isn't that the whole point of when that's why they build the street and the race
maybe.
cars was to.
Maybe in a lot of what has to do with sports cars is homologation, where you have to have so many road going
Right.
versions of the race car. And yeah,
I'm sad to see Ford's gone with their 4GT. Now with the new Corvette that came in, it would be nice to have seen. Ford
mid-engine
GT.
Corvette.
Especially Ford's still building the 4GT.
Are they
what's
really?
funny. Yeah, they have a 2021. Yeah,
oh no way.
I know. You don't hear about it because they only build literally. I don't know. It's a couple hundred a year. It's super expensive, like 500,000. But yet they flip them and sell them for $1 million.
Yep.
But they're still making them, which is crazy because it's not. But because of
that's-
balance, they got out of it. I think because the BOP caught up to them, and the car wasn't competitive anymore. It was only competitive for that.
You think that's the reason?
I'm pretty sure they just knew it wasn't competitive. Yeah, and they didn't want to. They didn't want to re-engineer a new whatever it was to keep up when that C8 Corvette came out, the GTD or LM or whatever you want to call it.
Which has
was,
kicked ass
exactly
ever since its inception.
Well, Corvette has actually been dominant for so many years. I feel like.
Corvette's been very dominant for the
a long
last as long as I've been like I don't watch sports car racing super often, but from what I pay attention to, it's always Corvette wins Le Mans, Corvette wins the 24 Hours of Daytona, Corvette wins the championship for the year for IMSA, and that's been happening for quite some time, decades. Back when the
Except
C6
for in the
Corvette.
90s when the Viper randomly had I think it was 3 years in a row won Le Mans.
Did it?
Yeah, the Viper GTLM or whatever it was called back then. Yeah, that was amazing. The GTSLM I think or something. But that was quite a car. But there was more American manufacturers in it back then. Now it does get a bit boring, but it's the
You're pissing off Sam right now. How you dare
yeah,
you say
I know.
that?
Sorry.
Sports car racing is boring.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I'm the biggest fan of that personally because you can relate to it. How the hell can we relate to a form? I mean, I guess
Nobody
a
can.
kart. They do claim a kart is
All right,
just
you know what? This brings up
every Formula One driver says it.
this brings up a very good point. Something that I've toiled with in my head for quite some time. With Formula One, IndyCar, those types of racing series that relate to nothing, no real car on the road. Do you care about road relevance? And I bring this up because you think about Formula E, the electric, racing series. They run on road tires because of road relevance to cars on the road. Formula One still does stuff that they do because it's relevant to their road cars and stuff like that.
So wait, is that the argument then about why their tires don't last very long? Aren't they designed to only last as long as they do or something?
Yeah, that's just Pirelli playing with the compounds,
okay.
trying to make things interesting. But they always argue, the reason to make the cars hybrid is so that they
Right.
relate to road cars. or
But wait, is it the other way around? Which came first? I mean, I thought the point of racing technology is that you create racing technology, then it goes into a streetcar.
yes,
So
but
you would think.
But what I'm asking you as a fan, does let's just put it into Formula One. Does road relevance mean anything to you when it comes to Formula One?
That makes no sense. No.
Yeah.
It's a spaceship.
Yeah.
Formula One car is not even. First of all, road cars only have mechanical grip. Well,
some,
all right.
Some
all
of
right,
them,
all
some
right,
of the more
fine.
exotic
now,
ones.
Some of the suit. Yeah, let's not count that stuff. You're right. But for the most part, it's all mechanical grip. Where Formula One, it's like 100% aero grip.
It's not 100%.
No, but what I'm saying is that it'll drive upside down.
Yes.
It makes enough weight and downforce that it essentially.
Theoretically,
and this is
so they
why
say.
you can break the shit out of the thing while you still have aero. It's not till it gets under maybe 85 miles an hour, around there, that it starts to really affect what you're doing.
Yep.
And that's what allows them to corner so hard. That's why I just feel like there's no correlation between that and a street car.
Right.
It's not even, and that's why certain drivers never get it, because you have to completely change the way you think. The faster you go, the harder you can turn and the harder you can stop.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, if you underdrive a Formula One car, you see it in, like, remember Top Gear when they had those guys drive them, or any of those talk show hosts.
It's
drive
no,
them.
it's very true. You have to drive it balls to the
if
wall,
you don't
or it doesn't
drive it
work.
fast enough, you're not using the arrow, and you're
Right.
gonna probably crash. You're gonna understeer or spin out or whatever.
Right. You're not using the arrow. You don't heat up the brakes. You don't heat up the tires.
Oh,
Nothing works.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah,
But
my
I
answer.
answered your question is
Right.
I know,
And my answer is very much the same. I do not care if a Formula One car is like a street car whatsoever. I want
I
that
don't want
thing
it
to
to
be batshit, super fast, just wings around corners like they do now. But I want it to more of an extreme. I would give them an extra 200 horsepower if I had the choice. You know what I mean? Make them louder, because that's fun. Nobody really likes the sound. I mean, I've gotten used to the sound of the V6 hybrids now, but like when they first came out, people were like, "This isn't Formula One. This is awful." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean I got used to them. I think. Do they still? Was it the Hondas that made that weird?
Yeah,
like farting. There
when
you
they're
go,
off
yeah.
throttle. Yeah,
Yeah, that sounded cool.
That's cool. I like that sound.
But other than that,
where what comes to mind right now for me when it comes to this whole road relevance and racing thing, beyond just Formula E, is NASCAR next year is going to. I think they're going to.
yeah, single lug.
Well, they're going to single lug. That's not even road relevant. There's no cars.
That's
really
true.
just
Well,
single
unless you're
lug.
driving up.
But I know they were coming out with a rules package that was going to bring the power of the motors down to like 550 horsepower. And there was one, they have plans to go hybrid at some point within the next 5 years or so. And nobody in the NASCAR fan base wants that. You know what the NASCAR fan base wants? They want loud as shit
They want
cars.
like that truck we heard drive by earlier. Yeah.
They want cars that are loud.
Yeah.
That like, put.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you an example. It's like in the future, if we can create fireworks that go off and make a lot of pretty colors, but they make no sound, no one's going to want to fucking watch that.
Yeah, exactly.
No one. It doesn't make any sense. Or when the Patriots score a touchdown, they shoot a musket and there's no sound, or there's a little poop. Like no one's going to want that. It's just there's certain things that are supposed to happen. NASCARs go vroom vroom.
Yeah.
And Formula One, because it's kind of always been the cutting edge of technology, you kind of accept that it's going to make whatever noise you want it to.
To be fair, the
Or
cars, those
technology
motors are more powerful than the V8s that used to power them. So
Yeah.
But
I hate to admit that.
to
but
go
it's true.
back to the whole NASCAR and road relevance thing, it's like nobody wants a NASCAR car. Actually, I've heard the arguments about like, why don't they make them actual stock cars like they did?
That's
back in
me.
the
That's
day?
my argument. I want to see a Dodge Charger look like a goddamn Charger driving around with a Hemi.
There's people who argue that like you just take it off the showroom line, throw a roll cage in it. That's a NASCAR car, and
Well,
I
it's
understand
stock car racing. I mean,
here's the thing though, and I hate to burst everybody's bubble who is a NASCAR fan. It's never been stock cars
True.
ever.
Yeah.
It never has been. It's always been cars that look stock
visually.
But from the very inception of NASCAR, none of those cars were stock. You know what? It's based off of moonshine running, right?
Yeah.
You know why the moonshiners were successful with their cars running moonshine? Because they tuned them up.
Yeah, they wanted sleepers. They wanted
Yeah.
stock-looking
Right.
cars that were fast.
Right.
Yeah.
So
they wanted to be
that's-
under the radar.
Right. But the cars were not stock.
I learned that from the movie Cars.
Congratulations.
Great movie, by the way.
But like I understand where people they look back at like when it started in the late 40s, 50s, 60s where the cars looked like their road going counterparts. but they've never been stock. And it's kind of like we've all, as motorsport people, we've all accepted that stock car in racing has a different meaning from a stock car on the road.
True.
You know what I mean? So,
but
I think that.
But isn't that why GT3, at least in the world of sim racing, is the most popular class because it looks the most like a street car?
That's a whole different topic. I don't know.
Oh, I'm almost positive that's why.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I have a thought about that, but yeah, I would just think it's silly that people think like we should make them just like their road going counterparts. I just don't think it would work. I think the format, the way it is now, as far as like the look and the build of the cars, they're race cars. They're fully bred race cars. That's what they are. They're nothing like your road going car. You know, they're not as
they were more so
insane.
Though back in like the 60s. You know, you look at Ford versus Ferrari and all
yeah,
that.
I said that. That's what I mean. But it was back in like the 80s, I believe, where they started going into, you know, one mold for every car, maybe just slight different cosmetic looks to make things different. And I think that's what works. I don't think returning the cars back
they're not safe anyway if they resemble a street car too much. I mean, the chassis
might be safe if you throw a roll cage in it. You know.
Yeah, maybe. But if you think about it, they're stamped. So like I remember the C8 Corvette race car. If you look at the monocoque chassis or whatever, it's all carbon fiber now on the race car and the street car. But it's two different. It's totally different. They're not even remotely the same. That's what the attachment points I think are different. Everything. And if there's like anyone listening that actually knows, and they're probably like
they're screaming at us again. Yeah,
they're probably like that's actually
we're not
true.
The smartest folks.
It's all
by
the same.
way.
But my point is I don't think they're at all similar. It's just they
no.
It's so street cars are built to make money, right? I mean they're
built to sell.
They have a chassis,
but they sell in their own way,
right? But you can't carry that over to a race car.
No, race cars should be for racing. Now, all right, let's go to your...
40G is a different example because it's a one-off. But anyway, the street car, I mean, that's a different example. Like that thing actually is pretty much a race car. But the example I was talking about was people like, and I'm guilty of this, I have a lot of model cars to show it. You know, people like the ones that resemble street cars that you and I could buy, assuming, we became Joe Rogan doing this.
Had actual money to buy any of these little bitty cars.
Yeah.
The full-size versions.
I wish maybe there'll be technology when you just be like...
Which one of these cars here do you think you could buy earliest?
Oh, well, this Porsche right here, I've been looking at some of those. You can pick that up for $20,000 maybe.
What series is that?
996, but that one is a C4S, and that goes for too much. 4 GTs would get my pick as a...
You think you could buy...
You can't buy that, no. But the Viper down below is about $40,000 now. They're starting to go up, though. I wish I picked one up. You could actually have gotten a Viper for... A nice one for 20 to 25 grand. Excuse
really?
Me. And not anymore though, because they don't make them anymore. But they are going to bring it back supposedly.
They always do.
It's going to come back supposedly as a V8 and all this, smaller engine. But it's a good. Here's the funny thing: we're always talking about me buying a cart. What do I always say? I want to buy. I'm like, no, I want to. Instead of spending $3 or $4 on a cart, what do I want to do? I want to spend 20 or 30 grand on a car.
Yeah,
a car that's going to cost.
But I understand
so
why that
much.
is. You're.
Because of use. It's a thought that I'm going to use and enjoy the car, even if it's track days or going around, winging it around town.
Well, you can take it out of the garage any day.
Exactly.
If you buy a car.
Right, where the car, you
got to wait.
It's the same reason I don't have a race car because you can't drive it on the street. I don't know. I think that explains why I got a simulator because you
can just drive it anytime.
I want to race all the time. I like it's... Yeah, you know what I mean, and that's the thing of it. You can't do it with a go-kart. Maybe certain states you could probably get away with it. But
so Charles has a problem where he won't commit to a racing vehicle.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about another problem. Sorry.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't need to know about any of the problems that you have. Okay. Been trying to get this guy into a go-kart or some, no go-kart.
Yeah, well, you offered me your champ. How many championships did you have on it?
At least 2. In the 4 seasons I've done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've only did
How many
4
wins,
seasons,
though? How many wins?
Like
Sorry, is what I meant.
18.
Yeah, okay.
Something like that. Yeah.
And that was up for sale.
It was. I didn't even put it up for sale, dude. I was going to give it to you for a great price before I put it up for sale.
I know. Was it less than I paid for a bicycle? No. Okay. What were you going to... You were selling it for what?
I was going to sell it to you for...
Oh, okay.
No, I might have dropped it down to $3,000 for
I
you,
thought
dude.
you did, yeah.
Only because, this guy, he's been racing rental carts for the longest time.
Piece of shit, man. And it's like
And you've had the taste of a World Formula car.
Yeah. Well, only once.
But it is better.
Oh, it's
way better.
It's amazing. Yeah. It so this goes back to what we were saying though. It's the closest thing to a Formula One car. I think. The feeling.
I don't know. I mean, you could go like the IndyCar route, F2 route.
No. I'm talking about affordable. Like
okay.
anybody hopping in a car.
Yeah.
And if you really want to get crazy, get a shifter car. There's nothing you're going to experience. I don't give a shit what car it is. That's going to accelerate, turn, stop like a shifter car.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
Just nothing.
Haven't driven it.
Yeah,
I've
never even driven one. And I look at it actually, quite frankly, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good with a World Formula. Maybe a tag, but
right.
The shifter car to me looks bonkers.
But all right, so mostly it seems like to me mostly the reason you won't go into buying a car is because, well, you go storage and logistics. How do you get to the track? You don't own a truck or anything like that. So
yeah, there's some.
I understand where that's coming from, but you're also like fearful of just like having to maintain it and having to lose your weekends here and there to go racing. But it's like you get to go racing. Come on,
that is true. It's real racing.
Yes, it's not this.
No, I know. It's funny. I want a.
That's a lot of money you could have put into a real vehicle.
I could have bought 2 or 3, but
Jesus, don't tell me that.
At least 2, but I'd like. The thing is about a track car is you can go to a track day and have fun. You're not racing though. There is a difference.
There is
I
very
actually
much a
do
difference.
enjoy a track day more than I should. I feel like, even though I'm not racing.
No, you're allowed to enjoy a track day. It's fine.
Yeah, because you're so even in competitive bumper to bumper racing. You're really competing against yourself mostly. At least I am. It's like racing against other people is a byproduct. Every time I'm out there, I'm trying to run faster and faster than I did before. And if I happen to pass somebody and make a successful racecraft maneuver, it's great.
Sure.
But if I don't, if I'm getting faster, I'm happy, and that's the way it is. So I feel like you can do that same thing without having to bump into people and this and that. But
well, you never technically have to bump into people. It happens in karting quite a bit.
What is this station called again? Formula Hooligan?
Yeah, that's true.
No, I actually haven't seen anything too bad happen. Anybody, bang up their shit or lose an arm or a leg or a head.
I've seen some stuff. I've seen guys flip in their go-karts.
I know. Yeah, there's a few stories I've heard, but
I've seen a kid flip and break his arm.
I mean, people die.
I was there
it's racing. It's still racing. It's actually. You could argue for karting is more dangerous than many forms of sports car racing because sports car racing got a cage and a harness, and assuming all that shit's working and a fire. You don't have to worry about fire in a kart at least.
Most of the time you don't. I mean, the suits we wear aren't even fire suits.
No.
It's just made for abrasion. It's made for road rash.
The one I wear is actually your old suit, and it offers no protection. I don't even think it's I think it's actually I've blown out the armpits in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
you should
so.
consider getting a new one.
Probably should, but they're expensive for the nicer ones.
Yeah, the one I bought a few years ago was $400.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot. I mean,
it's only kind of a lot though.
Well, it's kind of a lot for something that I don't think it. But it doesn't.
Look at your simulator. I think you can afford one.
The suit doesn't do anything. If it's not fire retardant, well, yeah, but.
It's made for road rash. It's made so if you get flung out of the car and drag along the ground at 50 miles an hour,
yeah, but how come then
burned.
motocross they use leather type suits that
it
really
does the same thing.
Yeah,
more or less.
I'd have to do some research and see a guy in a karting wreck, see if his suit actually withheld. I know the one in there that cheaper one.
Dave Nadeau.
Yeah,
he flipped his car. He flipped his car out in gravel. To be fair,
but I see a lot of guys. They have to have the elbow pads, knee pads, chest protectors. That's where you're really and your neck protector. I think that's where you're getting your best safety bang for your buck.
Chest protector, definitely.
Oh,
I think it's huge.
Yeah,
just even for driving.
Yeah, I remember taking the bank turn at X1 Outdoors for the first time in a World Formula, and I was like, "Oh, this is why you have them." And then you realize it because your organs they feel like they all just start on one side and go to the other. And it's a weird feeling, and the pad just seems to kind of weird. Keeps them from exiting your body. But
padding is a huge thing. I went the first maybe 6 or 7 years that I did go-kart racing. I didn't wear rib cage or rib pad. What do you want to call it? A rib protector whatsoever. I don't know why. I just kind of figured like, I don't need it.
Well, technically, it's really designed to stop the steering wheel from crushing your ribs. But
I think in accidents, yes, that's what it does.
But the funny thing is, a lot of them really protect the sides more like your kidneys.
Yeah, so like my
rib
protector probably starts about here-ish.
Yeah.
Maybe like if you consider like the center of my chest, like an inch or two away from the center of my chest on both
sides.
sides.
Depending on what.
And then it mostly covers your sides because you're digging into the seat. That's the thing. If the seat can dig like in between your friggin' ribs.
Everybody gets what do they call the little those giant bruises. Everybody after
every once in a while, but the chest protector absolutely helps you to not get them.
The worst actually is they need an ass protector.
Ass protector.
Yeah, because I remember getting like the worst welt, like right on a tailbone. It's really a tailbone is where you're getting beat up.
Oh, you're just not sitting in a
I
good
think
seat.
the seat is maybe not quite fit to you well.
Yeah,
but
that there's another reason to buy a go-kart. When you get your own seat, you can fit yourself to it.
Well,
be nice and cozy.
One step at a time. Anyway, I gotta get in karting shape.
Well, all right. So the plan that I've discussed with you for you to do this year, and I think you're gonna go forward with it, is to rent.
Yeah, renting is a great idea. I love that.
Just rent from somebody for 5 or 6 races this year, whatever you can afford, and just
now. What happens if you rent one and somebody just smashes into you, or God forbid, I smash into somebody?
I think you gotta, whoever owns the cart, you gotta just kind of talk to them about it.
You're just gonna have to open up your paycheck or your your checkbook. But it's a good way to get I think your feet wet. So absolutely.
You get a feel for the environment anyway.
I'm hoping X1 is not gone outdoors. I really don't want to see that gone. Not only the locality of it, it's the best track. I haven't driven.
Well, it's the only purpose-built go-kart track in New England that I know of that we race on.
It's the only purpose-built track I know of. Like, I've been to a few when I travel, depending on where I'm at. I always try to go to the local outdoor-indoor track. And there's not a lot of them, outdoor tracks, that are like that. I mean, many of them use cones or they use those like the plastic barriers to formulate a track. Yeah. But there's no banking, no elevation.
Yeah, you got to know about the places. You got places like NOLA that we're going to be doing for the 24-hour race this year. That's a proper track, a very much proper track. The track we raced at in Orlando was a proper track. They're scattered. They're out there. You just got to.
What about Atlanta has one? Remember we were looking into that.
Yeah, Atlanta Motorsports Park
has a great karting track, which they claim is I was gonna say simulated after or whatever the word.
Designed by Herman Tilke.
Yeah,
the guy who designs Formula One tracks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If you see videos of that track or like I do the sim or like the game Kartcraft, it's in that sim.
Yeah,
and
I gotta get that one.
There's a lot of asphalt runoff area, and it's got the stripes like blue, black. It looks like a Formula One track because of that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a great track. At least it is from what I've driven in Kartcraft. Anyway, I've never driven it in reality.
Which looks real as shit.
It's a good one.
Isn't that the one with the graphics are just outstanding?
The graphics are really great. You have 2 options when it comes to kart racing sims these days, maybe 3. You have Kartcraft, which is what we're talking about.
Yeah, what's the other one?
You have Kart Racer Pro. Kart Racer Pro doesn't look good. It looks like a PS2 game.
Yeah.
However, the physics are very good. Debatably
it's like
better
iRacing, pretty much.
It's iRacing looks way better than this.
Oh God, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, PS2, yeah, that's way back.
Not good. It doesn't even sound good either. Like you can tell the sounds aren't that great, but the physics are pretty cool. You can't really argue that they're super duper realistic.
I don't. So here's my problem with any sim that's karting is karting is a physical sport.
Yeah,
it's
and
lot of lean.
Well, racing in general, but karting especially.
True, but karting is really like the driver is more than half the weight of the kart, or about half.
I would say, like I'm 100. With all my stuff on, I'm probably 150 some pounds.
And the cart with you in it's what 3?
I bet you the cart weighs like 190.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You are literally
200 pounds, maybe.
So what you do with your body and how it's positioned in the cart, it depends on how it's going to handle.
Yeah,
that's why you can't really simulate
leaning out when you're going into corners and stuff like that. Yeah, and you can't. Yeah, exactly like you're saying, unless they ever did something like a joystick for your body controls.
Well, no, I mean they have motion sims now, and you always joke with me. It's like, oh, you're gonna put a No. The butt shaker thing is enough of a as far as I'll go with gimmicky shit like that. I think the people that go all out with the motion stuff, unless you've got the Formula One team money where your simulator is like $1 million+
Sure.
I think all that stuff is just so like fake.
I think it's silly.
It looks silly as shit.
I even think the butt kicker is the silliest thing you have on there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
but you have a really good wheel and a really good shifter, really good pedals, really good computer,
Need
and
VR.
a really good monitor. I mean, Yeah, VR,
VR
is something that I think
for
you
racing,
should get.
It enables you to look left and right for those people
Right,
that maybe
and
have
actually
never tried
be
it.
in the car.
Yes.
You know, it's
In
not like
3D
when you look at
space.
this and you still have like your house.
Yeah, it's
You know what I
hard
mean?
though because if you're trying to look at the wheel, especially the Formula One wheel, and you're trying to press buttons, you can't see, so it is a little.
You just got to memorize what your buttons
You gotta
are.
memorize where they are.
Yeah, that's what I do. What helps me is that with my setup, and I use VR for people who haven't caught up yet. I use the VR headset.
Reality.
Yes. My
Radio
wheel.
voice.
What was it?
I don't know. Oh, you're talking about VR.
Right. So my wheel that I use, a T300 RS, is a Gran Turismo wheel, so it has the PlayStation buttons.
So they're very
which
familiar.
I've been playing I've been playing
Yes.
PlayStation ever since I was 6. So I know where all the buttons are.
Yeah.
But even the extra ones, the only extra ones there are is there's 4 buttons at each corner of the wheel. So there's just 2 extras there. I have 2 buttons on the base of the wheel, which are really useful. And then
I forgot. Is your a round wheel?
yeah, it's a round wheel.
So it's like a GT. It's like that one. It's a round GT style
Yeah.
type wheel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you put a Formula style rim on it? Or
Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't tried that.
Thrustmaster has
Yeah.
its own lineup
Like a
of
Ferrari
wheels.
branded one, I think, right?
There's the
These one-
Ferrari branded one, yep.
Oh, supposedly they have one actually with a screen on it now, which is one up Fanatec and everyone else. It has a.
It was
I saw it on
teased.
Reddit.
It was
Oh,
teased
teased.
recently, yes.
I mean, that would be pretty epic.
Yeah, it would be, but I cannot imagine that thing will be cheap. If you have a data logger inside of your sim racing wheel.
It's Thrustmaster. Can it be more than $400? I don't know
A
what.
data logger is a data logger, dude. You know what the data logger for my
Yeah.
go-kart costs?
$300-400, right?
5.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
People have those. It's made by who's the company that makes them all? Because
Well,
people actually integrate it with their sim rig or whatever. And
for
I don't
go-karts, you have Micron,
Right,
Alfano.
yeah.
Alfano is what I'm going to be using this year.
The cheapest way, by the way, to do it is you can. A lot of people just use a phone, and you can attach it.
Yep,
and
I've
you
seen
can
that.
do different apps. Which
Yeah,
is
there's plenty of
which is pretty
tech
cool.
savvy people who make up their own solutions with screens of whatever they
Yeah,
got.
not me. I'm still trying to get. Thankfully, iRacing figured it out for me because I used to always like break fingers and stuff because I couldn't figure out how to get the fucking wheel to stop spinning when you crash.
Right, because you got the direct drive.
Yeah, and that just really means direct you is really what it is. It's no, it's cool because you can get gamer muscles as they call it, and I don't even know outside of like an old car with no power steering. For the most part, once it's moving, I don't think it's the 20 Newton meters. I don't think there's anything that you would ever really need that. Some people online, they will be like, oh no, Indy cars are like 16 or no, actually they say like 25 Newton meters.
Really? Well, no power steering.
That does not make any sense because I'll crank it up to 20 Newton meters. You won't even be able to turn the wheel. Not even an inch. It's a lot. And that's why I'm like, there's no way. Now, the brake pedal is a whole other issue. To simulate the brake pedal on like Formula One and those things, supposedly, I don't even want to throw a number out there. I just know it's high. It's extremely difficult to push it down. Probably
So
me and
I've
you
heard.
would not be able to.
I've heard it's that way, like in sports cars, dude. Like the prototypes and stuff, you got to
Yeah.
really jam your foot down.
Right. And I don't know why that is.
I think it makes sense. I think it.
Why though? Couldn't it just be power assisted? Like
Well,
the
you got
steering
those
now is?
ginormous discs on most race cars that you
True.
gotta put pads to, so it takes a lot of force to.
Yeah,
slow those
maybe
things
it's also
down.
for better feel. I mean,
But
if
then,
you-
yeah, for feel.
Right, 'cause
If you can push it down really hard and not lock up the brakes, you still have that control where you can feel where it would lock up.
I think that makes perfect sense because in a street car or anything like that, when you press all like as hard as you can, you're locking them up. Even with ABS, you're still going to be ABS activated.
yeah.
activated. Which reminds me when Max Verstappen drove the GT3 car. Remember when he was comparing the brake feel of that versus a Formula One, and he was saying you lean heavily on ABS. Is what he was doing to go faster. I remember.
No, he was saying the opposite.
Really?
What he was saying was the engineers were telling him to use the ABS more. They were saying like, no, you can slam the brakes, dude, and like the ABS will kick in and do the
But he
do
was
the work
saying the
for you.
opposite.
And he was like, no, I don't like it. I like to find the threshold. I still feel like the ABS is too invasive for what I'm trying to do under braking.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it makes sense because the tires do one thing well. Okay, very well. They should if you're doing more than one thing, 2 things, 3 things, then it's not going to be doing as well. So if you're turning and stopping at the same time, even if ABS is helping you and assisting you, you're still going slower.
right.
You want to be right before it.
You have the potential. I mean, I think what you're trying to say, and hopefully I think I'm on the same wavelength as you, is like, even if you have ABS, under full braking with ABS kicking in with the wheel still turned, you're still going to understeer. You might not lock, but you'll still understeer.
Exactly, and we know That's very bad. And I believe actually the GT3 cars, they light up. So when traction control kicks in, you see the lights come on. Same thing with ABS.
Yeah, a lot of the
That's
cars
really
will
cool.
do that on the interior.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
that really makes it f***ing easy, though, doesn't it? Hey, look at you're driving bad. Oh, the lights are on. So it's like you can dial it back based on that.
Yeah.
Which in iRacing it does that, which is really cool.
Well, it's super helpful in sim racing.
Oh,
You
of course, 'cause
can't
you can feel
actually
shit.
feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care how much money you spend. You're not feeling shit.
No, I mean,
It's-
with the pedals you got, you can do it in iRacing where the pedal vibrates. I don't
so,
know if you've ever
you know
tried
what's
that.
funny? I got to check the connection on the back. Mine stopped doing that.
Just all of a sudden.
No, it hasn't been doing it for a while. I got to look into that and see.
But like when it happened.
No,
was
you're
it all-
right. I got to, yeah, you know what it is too? I got to go to Fanalab. And is that what you have to use that too, right?
I've never used that.
Then how does it, then maybe mine's broken. I don't know. I'm going to get rid of those soon. Sam, they're for sale if you want them. Yeah.
Sam, our resident
I am
sports
such one
car
of those
racing
that
buddy.
says like, if you aren't going fast enough, just spend more money. Even if it's
What?
simulated. In other words, if you're not going fast enough. So like if I buy a cart or rent a cart and I'm not going fast enough, throw more money at it.
In a lot of cases, but sim racing, I don't think so. Sim racing with pedals, maybe. Pedals with the brake
Dude,
feel is the
so wait,
biggest
have
thing.
you not seen some of the reviews? People are spending $2,000 for true hydraulic with a master cylinder and everything, brake pedal setup on a simulator.
Which is
To me, makes no sense because the simulator is still limited by software and how many. I'm gonna screw this up, but whatever it's called, the bits of information that it can process. What is that called? Like it's
Resolution.
Yeah, basically resolution.
Yeah.
I mean, you're limited by the software. So I don't. What good is a hydraulic? I guess it could feel more real, but I don't see how it's going to make you brake any better. It's not. It's not.
it'll help. I think like what we got, like I got the same pedals there.
Yeah.
I think that helps you enough. Because what it does is it makes it so you can slam on the brakes. It's not based on position, it's based on pressure, which is more like a brake. And when you're not relying on getting your brake pedal to just a certain position that makes sense, where you could just lock up if you go past that position, you're more basing it off of a feel, which is a little bit more intuitive. Because you can't, I mean, unless you have the display right in front of you on your screen that shows where your brakes are at, you're not going to be able to really perfect it because you're not looking at that meter. You're looking at where you're driving. But if you can feel where your threshold is and get familiar with that.
But what I wish is that they would create a force feedback pedals.
Well,
So what I mean
your
by
vibration kind
No,
of.
but why can't it be even more than that? Like pulsing, like simulate that feeling of the friction by the pad biting
You'd
the rotor.
have to have some kind of robotics going on.
No, it could be done with the same type of force feedback signal that a wheel is based on. So in other
Right,
words,
there's
instead of
robotics going on in
Oh,
there.
all right. Well,
It's servos and,
yeah.
and
So have some type of motor that's not just a vibration effect, but it's more
an
of
actual
a
like
pulsing.
kick,
Yeah,
like a
exactly.
ABS.
It actually seems not that hard. We've already been over
Some engineers
This
probably
is what
done
the
it
thing
already.
is, and this was one of the topic I was going to end on was that sim racing and being real racing, and now like GT series sponsored by Fanatec and
Okay.
and then it's mostly GT3 cars, but they're using real racing mixed in with
Well,
sim racing. And,
The M4 is the first car that's going to use a sim racing wheel
Yes.
for its wheel, or you
It's
could say vice
crazy.
versa. It's
Yeah.
kind of not one or the other. It is this thing that does both things.
Right. So I guess what I'm ultimately saying is we are scratching the surface with sim racing. As far as it being real. I mean, sim racing has been around for a long time. You've been doing it for like since 2000, I don't know, 10? No, earlier than that.
The first true sim racing game that I ever got for the computer was NASCAR Racing 2002.
Yeah, so like 20
So
years.
almost 20 years.
And
yeah.
it seems like though
With a
right-
keyboard to start.
But right now we're at a point where it's everything is just happening. Like technology in general is just kind of exponentially growing year over
Well, it
year.
always has been, yeah.
Well, 20, I don't know. Video games, like in general, like we were just talking about Call of Duty earlier. To me, that shit seems like takes forever to progress. Like finally, they figured out how to make eyes and mouth in like video games. You know, those cutscenes look real. Remember, it used to be like, "Rah," and like the mouth would never match the words and shit. Like, how? Video games have been out for forever.
I don't know. I'm not a graphic artist. I don't know how you make video game
I don't know.
anything.
But anyway, my point is, I think there's a lot to be made there. But I'm obviously a fan of it. It's cool to see sim drivers doing the real thing as well.
It's interesting.
I watch them. I try to think of a few of the drivers' names.
Well, you have
they're all
David
GT3.
Perel.
Oh, he's the great, yeah.
GT3.
Can I get a
driver.
mic check?
No. That's Nicky Tim.
Oh, that's Nicky
That's
Tim.
the Aston
Sorry.
Martin driver.
God, I'm just, yeah.
Yeah.
But the other guy is that the blonde guy you're thinking of? He's a
That's the guy
younger
you're talking of. The blonde dude is the guy you're
No,
talking of.
but the other one, the one I was.
David Perel.
Yeah.
I don't know what nationality he is.
Oh yeah, he's not blonde. No, he's
No.
He races for
Ferrari GT3.
Oh, it's Ferrari. Okay.
Yeah, he's a factory driver.
But is he also sponsored by Thrustmaster? One of those guys sponsored by.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
No idea. That'd be weird if Thrustmaster sponsored him, given that they're putting their. No. He might be sponsored by Thrustmaster. I was gonna say it's weird that BMW is putting a wheel on there. Why would they sponsor a Ferrari driver? But that's Fanatic.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not Thrustmaster. Yeah, you got a few of the. I mean, Jimmy Broadbent is going to be racing real cars this year. That's the biggest
he
sim
got
racer of them
offered
all.
a chance to drive. Is it LMP1 or LMP2?
It's not. I don't really know
It's
what
neither.
classification.
It's not even a class over here in this. I think it's only in the UK, right? What?
It's a
I
prototype.
don't even remember the name of it. It's got a weird name. It starts with an M, like not a Mongol. It's a.
No, what?
My chair.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I watched that video too, and I
I
can't remember any of the details. Christ! But it's going to be some series that races in Europe, if not the UK,
But it does.
which is Europe, but it might just be the UK.
Sure.
It's this prototype thing. It's in Assetto Corsa they have it. It's a GT3 car.
Oh, that's right, because he was driving it. That's how he said he was preparing for racing it in real life. He's like,
Right, but it doesn't look like a GT3 car. It looks like this crazy prototype, but it's GT3 fast. But what is that company? I can't think of it.
Yeah,
People are screaming at their radios again or their YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's Marty again, the truck driver for Newport Propane.
Yeah. Regardless, he's going to be doing real racing this year because of his success with sim. See, it's not even based off of any
Success. It's based on.
It's not based off of
It's
any.
once again, it's money. He's popular. It's
Yeah,
like
he's
a
popular.
Kardashian.
Yeah, he'll bring in.
That's the thing that just continues to kind of kill me is.
But I have no hate towards Jimmy Broadbent.
No, I don't either.
Not at
because
all.
I mean, look at what we're doing right now. It's like he started in a shed, as he always says, and he lives
Still in
his
a shed.
Yeah, in his parents' backyard.
Yeah.
He has a little bit of a. I don't know. He had this sad story type thing. He was talking about depression and
Yeah, he
sim
has his
racing got him
issues.
out of it and
Yep.
stuff. But you know what? I got into sim racing actually because of COVID, because he couldn't do anything, couldn't go anywhere.
I think you were into it way before COVID.
No. Okay, wait a second.
You got into iRacing.
No. You forget. I was on Xbox with a little play seat. And
All
that was
right.
it. That's not really.
All right,
I was
yeah.
doing that, and it wasn't until COVID hit, and I was like, I'm gonna be sitting in here for a long time. Thank God I bought the stuff before the supply chain crashed and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. So yeah, he's good for him though. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, good for him.
I don't watch his channel. I find him kind of annoying.
What?
I know.
Wow. One of the few, huh?
I like him personally. I think he's cool. He seems cool, but I just no.
I think that Nicky Tim guy that you watch isn't all that
Oh, really?
all that fun to watch.
Oh, he's awesome.
Because he's so loud all the
So
time.
loud. I love it. That's what
I hate it.
He seems like he'd be a horrible race car driver because he's so crazy.
No, he's good.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's actually
He's
good.
awesome.
He's had success with Aston Martin.
Yeah. He's just badass. I don't know, but
Yeah, he's a badass. I'll give you that. But just like when he's like,
he's like a rock star. We need that in racing,
yeah,
But well, anyway, I think that was kind of covers our topics for today. I have no idea. I forgot to look at the the clock on this, so I don't know exactly.
We're an hour and 30
we're an hour
minutes
forward today, so my watch isn't even. Accurate. What time do we got? Oh, it's like 12:30.
Little after 9. No, it's not.
When did we start this podcast? What does the timer say?
I don't know, 7 something. We're an hour and 32 minutes into this guy.
All
Right
right,
now.
so this is pretty much
Something like that.
Yeah, this is a Joe Rogan length here.
No, not quite. We got to go 3 hours to make a Joe Rogan
no,
length. But
we
I
need-
do not have the energy tonight to do such a thing.
All right, let's talk about aliens. All right, when do you think we're going to see alien spaceships racing around tracks? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
I don't know why I'm whispering. But
That's a really silly question, Charles.
so anyway, yeah, we're
I think that's going to do it for this
Yeah.
episode, huh?
yeah. I'm Charlie,
And I'm Alex,
and this is Formula Hooligan.
the Formula Hooligan podcast. Big thanks to our sponsor, Newport Propane. If you can get up on the screen
Yay,
there it is.
it's back.
Newport Propane.
I didn't
Call
want my screen to burn
418-477-6878 if you need propane service or deliveries at your home.
Yeah, but within the next 5 minutes, because it's all going to automated drivers. So
No, it's not. I have faith in our human drivers. All right, folks. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.
Adios.